Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or BARJAM, by United Health Professionals for Iran. Iran started its nuclear program in the 1970s by building the Bushehr nuclear plant. But after the revolution in 1979 and the Iran-Iraq War, there was a pause in this program. However, in the late 1980s, Iran reinstated the program, mainly with the help of Pakistan and Russia. They began an indigenous nuclear capability by developing the infrastructure for uranium enrichment, although in complete secrecy. Well, secrecy could not continue, and in 2002, news leaked regarding the two secret uranium enrichment facilities in Arak and Natanz, two cities in Iran. The following year, Iran's president had to acknowledge the presence of these hidden facilities after Israel released all the evidence regarding their existence. Every nuclear program has two main purposes, civilian or military. Iran has always claimed a civilian and peaceful purpose for their nuclear program and denied any allegations regarding their attempt to use these facilities for military purposes. However, their poor track record in human rights, their hostile and aggressive international relations, and such remarks as, "We annihilate Israel," by their presidents and military generals have cast a shadow of doubt over these claims. To put it simply, no one really believes their claims. As worries mounted over the peacefulness of Iran's nuclear program, European Union, along with 6 other countries, started negotiations with the regime in 2013 regarding their program and its intentions. As a result, an agreement was released to the public in July 2015, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as BARJAM in Iran. Iran agreed to many measures to reassure the international community of the peaceful nature of their nuclear program. These included frequent surveillance by the International Atomic Agency, a cap on the number of centrifuges, the percentage of enriched uranium, and many more. In return, the international community agreed to lift the sanctions against Iran and release their frozen assets in financial institutions, amounting to nearly $100 billion. At this point in time, Iran was under heavy sanctions which had crippled its economy. Here comes the problem. The released funds were never used to improve the living condition of the Iranians, as they claimed. You might ask, so what did they do with that money? If they were planning to use the nuclear program for the benefit of the Iranians, they must have used that money to build hospitals, schools, infrastructure, and factories and created thousands of jobs for them. Well, to your surprise, the answer is no. Instead, the Islamic regime used the funds to finance affiliated terrorist groups like Hezbollah and Hamas in Lebanon, Houthi rebels in Yemen, and Hashd al-Shabi in Iraq. They used the funds to build more missiles and drones. The drones, which are currently killing Ukrainians in their war against Russia. They used the money to recruit more special agents, create a cyber army and expand Basij and many other paramilitary forces. The vicious forces who in the past 4 months have been beating, killing, and raping protesters in Iran. They used the money to recruit foreign nationals from many countries, including Lebanon, Iraq and Afghanistan. They trained them in special military camps to fight for them inside and outside the country, in places like Syria. They funneled huge sums into Islamic institutions and government agencies with one objective: to propel their giant propaganda machine and spread their dangerous and extremist ideology. This is how they used and will use the money. On the other hand, the people of Iran become poorer every year. The economy is on the verge of collapse and inflation is entirely out of control. Let's pause here and think about this confusing scenario. The Islamic regime claims peaceful and civil intentions for their nuclear program to benefit the Iranians. However, when they got their hands on this huge fund from BARJAM, they used it for every evil act you can imagine, except helping the Iranian people. I leave judgment regarding their intentions to acquire nuclear technology to you. As you may know, during the past 4 months, there have been protests in Iran, and during this period, the Islamic regime has further revealed its true evil face. They have killed nearly 500 protesters and imprisoned over 18,000. They executed and raped many political prisoners who were fighting for their freedom and basic human rights. And sadly, there are many more on death row. During this period, Iran was expelled from the UN Commission of Women and lost its international credibility due to these brutalities. The economy is spiraling downward, and they desperately need more funds and international credibility. At this critical point in their existence since the Islamic Revolution in 1979, restarting nuclear negotiations is the only way they could restore some of their damaged credibility. Another potential agreement can also provide them with more funds, only to continue wreaking more havoc across the region and the world. The Islamic regime's nuclear program has never been peaceful, and if they get their hands on nuclear weapons, another North Korea will be born, in a very strategic and volatile region, and not only the Iranians but the entire world will feel the devastating repercussions. If you're wondering how they would deal with other countries and foreign nationals and how aggressive and merciless they would be, you need to look at how they are brutally killing and raping their very own citizens, and you will get your answer. This is a crucial moral quandary that every country should ask themselves before sitting at the negotiating table with the Islamic regime. By opening negotiations, not only the Western countries will betray the people of Iran and their achievements in the past 4 months, but they also put their citizens in grave danger. Iranians want this brutal and tyrannical regime replaced by a democratic government and nothing less. They want the current rulers to be held responsible in the International Court of Law for their crimes against humanity and nothing less. They want the international community to hear their voice and acknowledge their concerns that not only impact Iranians but have far-reaching effects on the entire region and the world. To stop further devastation and killings in Iran and the region, the United Health Professionals for Iran demand that the Western countries immediately cease negotiations with the Islamic regime and support the Iranians in their fight against evil. Only a regime change can stop Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons, not another agreement.